Well, guys, what day is it? It's
Saturday.
Saturday. What time is it? It's 8 p.m. And where would you rather be than here with us on the Cash Flow Kings? I mean, you could be doing other things today. You could be out at the bar drinking, risking getting a DUI. You could be smoking a doob. You could be out vaping potentially. If you're an Altria shareholder, maybe you're smoking some Marlboros. Who knows? Or you could be here with us talking about stocks. And what merch might you be wearing? Well, this is the kind of merch you need to be wearing right now. And check out the flag out back. That's a real man's flag back there, if I do say so myself. People always
Definitely
ask
is.
me, hey, like, what kind of training program do you do? Like, how much protein do you eat? The answer is none of that stuff. I don't even lift. I just wear do dividend stocks, not drugs merch. And that is the key to these guns.
And a good life.
Yeah, it's the secret. So number one. So I heard that you're feeling a little bit under the weather today. How you doing, buddy?
Well, let's just say Joey C might have spiked one of my recent Starbucks beverages because I'm not feeling too good. But I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd be coming to the Cash Flow Kings live every Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern last night. But then I woke up this morning. I felt a little better. I didn't have a lot of taste, so I got that Joseph Carlson syndrome in me, and I'm ready to go for tonight.
Somebody once asked me, is there anything Ryan can't do? And I said, he can't disappoint his audience on the Cash Flow Kings live show every Saturday at 8 p.m. ever. That's the one thing he can't do.
Unless you're an MPW shareholder.
Right.
I'm joking.
But no, that's definitely, yep. It's the one thing he cannot do.
We apologize for no guest this week, everybody. I tried my hardest. I like 3 people I was trying to get, but nobody could come on. So next week, 100%, we promise.
And it's probably better, honestly, you wouldn't have been at 100% anyway. And I think for the guest segments, we always want to put our best foot forward.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. One of the unionizing baristas is actually, yeah, he's right. They probably saw one of your videos and they said, oh, this drink's for Ryan, is it? Little something for you. A little something extra that you didn't pay for that.
We could talk about that if you want.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot to get into. We have some segments to get into, some hot stocks this week to get into. We get a lot.
Hot stocks. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, the unionization thing is, you've been popping off about that.
Oh, I could talk for days if I were 100% healthy.
I bet you could.
I bet I could talk for hours today, though, about it.
I mean, do you think you could handle talking for like a minute or two about it and just tell us what's going on with that?
Well, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so I'll go for it. So, essentially, to sum it up, I think that the Starbucks baristas and the unions, I think they're a bunch of whiny bitches, to be frank. Mm-hmm. It's like, tell me, what do you think the best job with the best benefits is in the world?
In the world? Probably being in the C-suite for a major corporation. That's probably the best job in the world.
Yeah. So imagine you have a part-time job in high school. You basically do nothing. You get the C-suite job. But then once you get it, you're complaining about it. You're saying they don't give you good enough pay. When in reality, a lot of other people could go into the C-suite job. That's essentially how it is with Starbucks. Let's be honest here. When you're a kid, you're 4 years old. Mom asks you, what do you want to be when you're older? Grandpa asks you that at the Christmas dinner every year. You're not saying a Starbucks barista, And look, I understand it. I've said it before. People want to, people that are going full-time at Starbucks for the next 50, 60 years of their life, realistically, they're probably a franchisee, right? The franchisee or higher up in the company, something to do with that. So there was a report this week that came out on Starbucks in their working conditions, I believe in Brazil and the rest of their partners, that essentially accused them of slave-like working conditions. So I went over some of the horrible slave-like conditions in my recent video. Shameless self-promotion too.
And that had to do with the actual stores, not like the people who like coffee bean farmers or anything like that.
I believe it was the coffee bean farmers, but it also did not specify away from the stores too. So Forbes did a really bad job of kind of differentiating that, but still, it was definitely, you could tell, like a political based attack. Because, like Nike and Starbucks, they have outsourcers in China and Brazil. They can't like directly control it. So a little bit of an attack on my pride and heart there.
And, I mean, if people want to be, even Stevens about that, where do they think the cobalt in the batteries and like the lithium, like the rare earth minerals and stuff that go into the batteries in their like Teslas that they love to drive to quote unquote save the world, where do they think that comes from? Because that's those people that mine that stuff by hand in a lot of cases are in much worse situations than even the coffee farmers at Starbucks. So you want to sling your mud, but you don't want to do it equal opportunity wise. It's just for the company that you don't like.
Yeah. Oh, what percentage of coffee bean does Starbucks buy?
Like globally, like total?
He might be talking about coffee bean stock. I know Starbucks has like bean stock, they call it, and like it's basically company stock. And I went over the benefits because, a lot of these Starbucks unions, I think we've talked about it, they started where I live in Buffalo. They're complaining a whole lot for a whole lot of nothing from what I see. We have a lot of people on the Discord who work at, small mom and pop restaurants and with probably more of a role than you'd have to work at Starbucks without automation and all that. They're getting less pay. They're not getting health care. They're certainly not getting child, reimbursement in case you forget to pull out or something. Like I went over all the benefits. It's ridiculous how good they are for a part-time job, and I just think they're out of place.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I bring it up every time Starbucks comes up, but like a guy I knew that I used to work with when he was, in his early 20s, like college years, one of his jobs during school was Starbucks because, he could do it kind of around his class schedule. The pay was decent for, being a student, and the benefits were good. I think, he said that there was a lot of really positive things that he took away from working there. And like, yes, he didn't make being a barista his career, but being a barista was a good experience for him while he was a student, still figuring out what his career was going to be.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is the type of job that was ever really meant to be somebody's long-term career. Some jobs are meant to be sort of, like the entry level of the entry level. Like it's meant for, students or, just people looking for extra part-time stuff.
Barista fire.
Yeah. Like people looking for like a second job on the side they can work around their first job, that kind of thing, part-time hours. I think that's more what it is, like a supplemental thing, or you're spending money when you're a kid or a student or whatever.
Yeah, I was not too happy with some of the employees coming out. And I'm like pro-union in that too, but I just think in this specific case, I think it's they're a little out of line, so to speak.
Yeah, like I think last time we discussed this, like teachers, for example, like I think there's something to be said for them having like a set contract for how that all works out. Because it's not like they make drivers working, right? Yeah. And they actually have to like go through a lot of training. Like there's a lot of steps you have to go through to become a teacher. So if they want to figure out a good fair deal for all of them, then I think that's okay. But something where the barrier of entry is so low. I don't really like the auto worker unions either, to be honest with you.
Oh, Alex, who's part of the Discord stock market competition, comes in and says, "Isn't it also fair to say that Starbucks benefits are better than other similar size?"
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like for McDonald's workers, because that's a pretty similar skill level and stuff. I think. And you go to any random person out there.
It's harder to work at McDonald's, to be honest.
It's harder work, yeah, I think.
Because you have like from when we go to McDonald's, is
Mhm.
like near us, there's only like 2 or 3 people in the kitchen, and it's like a lot of
Yeah.
demand. A
But I
Starbucks,
think like the basic like knowledge you need to go in and skill level and probably the amount of training you need is probably pretty similar. But I think yeah, it's more you're grinding a little harder probably at McDonald's.
yeah.
Yeah, you've got more stations. You have like fry cook stations. I don't think Starbucks doesn't have like a deep fryer or like a grill or anything, right?
Starbucks,
Yeah.
they have like toaster ovens for
Yeah, but
like
like
the 4 people in the world who actually order food from there.
yeah. That's
Make it
true.
good.
But yeah, I think like with McDonald's, you just have more stations that you probably have to learn and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think you really see the whole thing of, oh, the McDonald's workers need to unionize for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why the Starbucks workers feel like they're, I don't know.
It's a little. I just think they're out of place.
Yeah. I mean, they have the right to do, they have the
Oh
right to
yeah,
try to do it, you know,
absolutely.
but yeah, I don't see it.
And look, politically, like I'm in the middle of things. I like to use common knowledge and facts. Heck,
Mhm.
I even own Target, so it's not a political thing whatsoever that a lot of the Starbucks workers happen to be on the left side of things.
Sure.
Oh, drive-through it is definitely is the hardest part at McDonald's, especially when
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people working on there. All right, we have our first of new segments to go over on the Cash Flow Kings Live. We're
Ooh.
spicing things up on here. We're gonna go over our bull stocks of the week and our bear stocks of the week, and I think we'll start off with the bull because I'm not too happy about this one, but it had to be done. Crocs was up 20% one day this week
Yeah, let me
after a
take a
good
look.
earnings report. And Double D's is smearing in everybody's faces.
Yeah, I do remember he was in a pretty grand mood. A pretty grand mood. And I don't blame him, to be honest with you.
Oh, I know what it's like to have a stock when everybody's shitting on it go up 20% one day.
Now,
At least we didn't block him and mute his voice.
no, I want to be fair about that. I don't think any of us were ever shitting on Crocs specifically. I think it was the whole moat conversation is where we
Yeah.
always get hung up
Yeah.
on Crocs because let's face it, like Nike clearly has a moat. I don't think Crocs does. Even if Crocs is a great company and a company does not need to have a moat to be a good investment. 100%. But yes, they definitely ripped and took off. And so I'm happy for everybody that saw it and got in when it was cheap. Because it really was. They were trading at what, like an 8 PE or something like a
Yeah.
couple months ago, right?
Yeah, they were something like that. It was their free cash flow isn't like horrible either, so definitely. I don't know. I'm still not on the Crocs wagon yet.
You're not quite buying it yet.
Yeah, you could say that for sure.
All right. Well, what about Bear?
Bear stock of the week. We have 2.
All right.
One we already kind of covered. Starbucks, that's trading near $91 a share now.
Mhm.
That one seems to be just trading flat or underperforming the market because everybody likes to focus on performance.
Yeah, I would love to talk Starbucks valuation a little bit, but I want to hear what the second Bear stock is first.
Ready for it?
Yeah.
Ford Motor.
Ooh.
I could have gone with SoFi too, but Ford Motor I chose.
Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that you said Ford, but at the same time, I always kind of think they suck. So they're my Bear stock every week.
We got earnings coming up too, so it's going to be a lot more. Ho, ho, ho. Also, if you guys haven't already, smash that like button while you're in here. We got 15 people in here. Smash the like button. If we get to 20 by the end of the night, bad things could be going down.
So you know what my Bear stock of the week is? If I had to add one in there, Boeing.
Oh, because
of the door.
They forget. Oh,
the loose bolts or whatever.
The other night, I went on to a live with Citizen of the Year for Shits and Giggles, and we talked about that, and it was funny because I've seen like multiple videos now, doors or planes without doors on it. That's Their stock's been impacted by it though, right? Because I think we talked about that.
I mean, it's down
It's
5%
been
for
down.
the
I
last
know
5
that.
days. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reason.
That's definitely.
Yeah.
They've been down for a long time too. Since C19.
Yeah, I mean, there was the 737 Max has been a shit show for like a while now. This isn't the first problem that airplane has had, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Southwest Airlines, that's like the only plane they use.
I'm not flying Southwest again after that video. No, I like heard stories that people were holding babies and little kids,
Yeah.
holding not to get sucked out of the plane. Like that's
Yeah, it looks like Southwest dipped a little bit too on Friday. So
Delta I saw as well was down.
yeah. So I mean, that's a pretty interesting thing. But so, what specifically about Ford Motor Company?
Ford's been down, I think 3 or 4% this week. It's just historically a shitty company, I know we talked about it, I think, with Cody when he came on.
Mhm.
But Ford, 7.5p. I don't know if are they still in SCHD? I think they are, right?
I think so. Yeah, last time I looked.
Yeah, I hate Ford. It's just so inconsistent when it comes to the financials and all that. Like their cars look cool, but I don't like anything else.
I mean, honestly, I bet you could pick 50 companies basically out of a hat like I did and come up with 50 better companies than Ford to have in your portfolio.
Not wrong. I don't know. Their dividend is just it hurts my head to look at sometimes.
Yeah.
12.82% yield. Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? I mean, but though the argument that just because something's yield is high means that it's a trap or it's bad, that's
yeah. We talked about that with Altria.
That is a faulty. Yeah, that is a logical fallacy. Because if something is underpriced and has a dividend, the yield will go higher just because it sold off, not necessarily because of any problem. And yeah, but yeah,
Whoa.
Altria. How do you feel about that?
I want to talk about that. Dresch comes in SCHD reconstruction in March. I agree. I hope.
Well, that's one thing I don't really like about it. It's like if they keep dropping stocks out of it all the time and adding different ones in and stuff, doesn't it seem like I don't know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's like why
a lot of yield to be losing too on SCHD. It's a lot of dividend income that's going to be a lot of people that won't be happy for a few years.
Like, why not just put together a bullpen of a few dozen stocks that you generally like and that pay a dividend and just roll with it?
I want to come to the defense of SCHD too. Let's not forget 9 months ago, they were outperforming the S&P 500. And I know you're a man that can appreciate, long-term value and long-term plays. I still think SCHD long-term is a solid play. Just me. That's just me.
I'm not there. SCHD.
That's fair. I have MPW. You have SCHD. We do want to talk about Altria though, because Double D's was coming at Altria pretty harsh earlier this week.
I remember. Yeah,
he came at the fence. I think Altria is one of those stocks that I hate chasing yield, but when the cash flow is there to back it up, I think you're in the right to be buying.
Yeah, and that's what it really comes down to. If you don't think that what you're buying when you buy a stock is, the net income or the free cash flow or the balance sheet or whatever, then what the hell are you buying? And Altria, in their defense, generates an awful lot of cash and trades at a pretty cheap multiple of that cash. So it's a pretty simple thing to wrap your head around, but sometimes the simplest investment might be the best investment in some cases.
That's what I'm saying. Double D's brought up the point of declining smoking rates. And I view that as something that's always been kind of naturally priced into the stock, if that makes sense.
Yeah, at least for the last 25 years or something, smoking has been on the decline. Yeah,
for sure.
So, talk about old news. It's old news.
Yeah.
It's been pretty much baked in, and that's probably why it continues to trade at a cheap multiple. Yet they keep pushing their adjusted EPS up and keep paying 80% of it in dividends.
So you
So
gotta read the earnings reports.
yeah, and with regards to vaping, all right, so 100% they shit the bed with Juul. Juul was, a debacle to the tune of, I think they wasted $18 billion on that. That's no small sum. But I think from what they're saying, Enjoy
Yep.
is supposed to be, it's supposed to be accretive to free cash flow, I think, starting next year.
I like that.
That's what they were saying last time I actually listened to one of their earnings reports. So, I mean, I think if they're replacing a lot of that revenue with other products, I think they're more of a nicotine company now than just a tobacco company, and that's the direction they're going. So, smoking alternatives and the like, um, reduced harm options,
What do you
things
think
like
about
that.
Kronos Group?
I think that's a gamble. I think the Kronos Group thing, it's like if the devil's lettuce goes the right way, then Kronos Group could be something where their investment in that like 50x's or something. But if it doesn't, it could just continue to be basically like a penny stock that they're invested in.
Yeah. I like the direction that cannabis is going
the
in.
thing is, their investment in Kronos Group is already like so minuscule, like in terms of
Yeah,
like
it's tiny though.
in terms of like how much it represents compared to all of Altria Group, that I view it basically as only potential upside. It's either gonna make no difference or it's gonna rip. One of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, Enjoy the oral tobacco, I think, could definitely
Yeah, but all right.
step up.
So that comment, like, okay, yes, cigarettes are over 60% of the revenues. What percentage of their revenues were cigarettes 20 years ago?
You want me to look it up?
It's not about where it's at right now. It's about what direction it's moving. If it was going to stay 60% forever, then we would have a problem. But I don't think that it's going to stay 60% forever. I think if you make a pie chart of their different revenues, other slices of that pie keep growing while cigarettes probably shrinking.
Will that revenue go away?
Never, not entirely, not anytime soon, but like I think smoking is going to be declining still for a while, but there will always be some small percentage of the population that still thinks smoking is cool and still does it.
I don't think you guys realize how much revenue and free cash flow SIGs generate.
We do realize because we follow their fucking earnings, my dude. Like I literally read their financial statements. So I do literally realize because I'm literate and I read it.
I can't even read, but I still understand. I can listen to the earnings call. I can't read. No. I'm joking. Why will they replace it? Have you known smokers?
Yes and yes.
My friend's mom used to.
So why will they replace it? Because smoking is in secular decline in the Western world. That means,
and they're aware of it too.
Yeah, that means that the number basically, I mean, this is really dark, but they're basically dying. Like their customers are dying off because smoking skews older.
But the Enjoy is huge.
Yeah, Enjoy is.
One thing huge. I am a little concerned about. I'm pretty sure the main two oral tobacco companies are Enjoy and Zyn. I could be wrong, but I know Zyn is very popular, and I'm a little worried that Zyn's like you could even say in brand value could eat into Enjoy's potential growth in the future, because Zyn is huge amongst teenagers from personal experience. I've never took it. I've never claimed to take it, but I know that the hype around it is real.
All right, so let me see here.
Another thing with the cigarettes, people are addicted to them. Like if you think Starbucks is addicting and has recurring revenue, people pay like 50 for a pack of cigs. The pricing power is insane on it.
So, what about Views? That's the British American tobacco vape thing.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it? All right. This is
I
important.
don't know much of like vaping. I know that Zins are very popular.
I gotcha. So
with
all
vape,
right.
it's just kind of like you get a stick and that's it. With
So
I think
what is the
World
how do you spell
Tobacco,
that? Zins, you said?
ZYN.
ZYN. I've literally never heard of that. And so this is the due diligence you've got to do, ladies and gentlemen. You got to ask the kids what's cool these days.
Yeah.
But yes, I do know smokers, and it does skew older. But there's plenty of smokers in my generation. I mean, and they're not going to stop anytime soon, and they've got some decades left before they die.
You said it wasn't a yield trap yet. Like 2 days ago, dividend day. That's fake news.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a yield trap if the financials and cash flows are actually there.
Something is a yield trap when it's like the yield is really, really high, but not sustainable, and they're going to cut the dividend.
Yeah.
And I
The
don't.
dividend has been sustainable for a bit now.
Yeah, I don't like. I really, really doubt Altria is going to cut the dividend. But hey, then again, like practically everything I buy, the dividend gets cut. So who knows?
It's not cool. Oral tobacco is. I just want to keep this reiterated.
Are those like little pouches?
Yeah, it's nicotine pouches.
Oh my gosh, that's what
the gum cancer pouches. Yeah, that's like the new cigs, pretty much.
Because I know Altria has a brand of that.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Never heard of the other brand. Yeah, I don't see a lot of Enjoy, so that is a bit of a concern for me. Is that Zins are
Enjoy is a vape though.
Then I'm mixing it up then because I know.
Yeah, that's why I was confused why you were worried about Zins with regards to Views or Enjoy, because Views is their competitor and that's British American puts that out.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, Enjoy is a vape.
It's on. All right, fucked it up. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay,
it's on. My bad, everybody.
Yeah, okay.
On. I'm sorry. I'm not a frequent gum cancer advocate here. I don't research this stuff. I
research it deeply.
Yeah. In 5 years, you will come back. That's a Joseph Carlson special right there. 5 years.
I very highly doubt that. But okay. Because I mean next
10% yield.
So Enjoy is supposed to start becoming accretive to their free cash flow in another year or so, which means that's more money for them to pay out that dividend, not just from cigarette prices. Personally,
yeah,
I'm excited for it. But, here's the thing with Altria, though. I've been doing a lot of videos on what I call forever stocks, and I don't know that I necessarily consider Altria for forever stock.
I might have to do a Ryan Dengler show review on one of these with all my shareholder money.
Mm.
They're actually a lot of money, though, so I don't know if I would. Next to my ad payment from... I got approved for a credit card this week.
Ooh, Discover It secured?
Yeah, I still got to put the $200 deposit down because I apparently actual banks have like a bit of a delay when it comes to like showing your actual balance. So I got to wait for all that to straighten up and adulting everybody. Ryan's adulting.
Yeah, he's going to have an 800 credit score before you know it.
Yeah. Pump out an MO video like a certain other YouTuber.
A certain one that does a lot of talks about dividends.
Yeah, I loved your message this morning. The MHS joke. I think that was pretty funny. You got to give me my MHS. I'd argue that MPW and Walgreens are in different situations than Altria. Altria has a lot more pricing power than both of those companies, and I would argue a qualitatively stronger business.
I mean, but they're down a lot, and therefore they're bad.
Yeah, they're cigar butts. You could even say
They're falling knife cigar butts, and I'm gonna be telling I'm gonna be coming back to his MPW and Walgreens videos in 5 years, saying, "Damn, this
yeah.
was a real trap."
I always saw the cigar butt jokes, but I like never saw the actual definition of it. And Code Citizen of the Year pulled it up the other night. And I started laughing my ass off. I can't even lie. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Cigar butt investor. Oh, this is actually kind of funny. So our boy Dividend Talks now. He's milking the Joseph Carlson view train, which I actually don't know how to feel. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Like I respect Joseph Carlson more than Dividend Talks, obviously, but he's like milking them now. So I hope it gets both of them really mad at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh. I wonder. It's like the two most horrific human beings, like on a collision course. I almost want to watch, but I don't want to give that channel any watch time or clicks, so I don't think I will.
That's why you got to click on like one of our videos before and get the ad revenue, or like for somebody else, and then you go on their video, pause it at the beginning, and then go in the comment section. Yeah,
and just be like, "This guy stole my thumbnail."
All right, everybody. We also have a new segment today, which is the Cash Flow Kings viewer questions, and we have a few questions tonight. 3 from our good friend Matt, the Dividend Prophet. Man. His first question is: when is it the right time to average up your top gainers in the portfolio?
So, by average up, he means buy more.
Buy more of your top percent gainers.
Anytime that you still believe that they're under their fair value.
I would say
It's all about valuation.
it's going to differentiate from yours. I would say if you think it's a fair value, but also if you have it as a spot in your portfolio where you don't think you're overweight. Because I'm a little bit, if you're already at that, 8 to 10% range, I think you should be a little more picky.
Yeah, position sizing. Yeah, you don't necessarily like if you already feel like you have enough of it, and you're
like my Microsoft. I already own like Microsoft's already like 11%. I'm not going to be buying at 300 if I think that's
like Intel. I still think it's a decent value today, but again, it's now my biggest holding, by a pretty good amount. And so it's like, do I really want to add more Intel and just be super, super concentrated, or do I want to consider other things? So yeah.
Shamir brings up the Starbucks credit card, and that's actually a fun fact because I looked it up, and Starbucks had a credit card a few years ago, like a collaboration with like Chase or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's discontinued, but you'd get like a crazy amount of like sign up stars. I would totally get it. We'll talk about Starbucks eventually. We already did Dividend, dude. You came in late.
I know, like 10 minutes of Starbucks at the beginning of the show, man.
So you got to turn on post notifications. All right, what are your 3 favorite ETFs? I don't know why we're doing 3, because I don't know. This is like a Dividend Talks tweet or something. The top 3 ETFs for 2024.
Yeah. Gosh. Can
I go first?
You can go first, yeah.
I'll go SCHD just to get you a little riled. No, I'm joking. I'll go SCHD, SPY, and I'll mess around and go SCHG. Why not?
Okay. So
ARK. No.
Obviously, Tesla and no, just kidding. So like if we were talking about just to buy and hold,
yeah,
VOO, VT, VTI.
I like that. I can respect that.
But if you wanted to write options, SPY instead of VOO. So I'm giving you a bonus 4th pick because the options chains on SPY are better, but the expense ratio is slightly higher. So if you're not messing with options, just go VOO.
Dividend Dude says SCHD, VU, and QQQ. Trash says SCHD, QQM, and Degro. Wow, this is kind of disrespectful, Shamir. Ryan doing a spot-on impression of Dividend Talks. Could Ryan and Dividend Talks be? That's
No.
fake news.
No, he just sounds like him because he has a cold right now.
Yeah. Shh. Hey, that doesn't make sense. I don't have the free British healthcare to blast me out. And the last one is for, oh, Jesus Christ. This one's for me. Will Ryan Dangler ever get into covered calls and cash secured puts in the future when possible? I'd have to learn a lot more about it for me to comfortably, but I could in my 20s. I could see that. Fiscal, would you like to briefly explain that to me?
What they are?
Yeah.
All right. So
I have like a general idea.
Okay, sure. So a cash secured put is basically, if you're selling it, what you're doing is basically you're providing price insurance on the security. So it could be either on a stock, an ETF, or whatever. And you're basically saying you believe, or you're willing to insure the person that buys that contract against the price of that stock falling to or below your strike by the expiration date. And if it doesn't, and it expires and the stock doesn't fall that low, you keep your cash and you collect the premium that they paid you for taking that risk. It's basically one way to look at it is it's a limit order that you get paid to keep active in your account for a set period of time.
Okay.
And I like to use them to average down because, for example, on MPW, the $3.50 strike price, if I write one like 3 weeks out, it pays almost 10% for that 3 weeks on my cash. So like it's kind of like 50-50 when it's that close to the money, but, and covered calls are just like kind of the opposite. So you're giving somebody else the right, if you sell a covered call, the right to buy a lot. And these are all blocks of 100 shares, by the way. So you either need the cash to cover 100 shares at the strike price, or you need the 100 shares to cover your call.
Okay.
If you're doing the call. So you write it above, you can't, you don't have to, but this is, how you keep the shares and get money. So you pick a date and a price. And if it doesn't go above that price by that date, you keep your shares and the money for the contract. And when somebody buys a call, they're basically anticipating the price of that stock going up a lot within that period of time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like this better though. Keep options very small. The goal is to be an investor in 50 years. I like that. We got to keep that investing spirit, like the Christmas spirit all year round.
So, I mean, the people on Wall Street bets, for example, are usually buying options, which means that if a stock doesn't move the direction they think it will, what they bought essentially expires worthless and they lose 100% of what they put in.
Yeah.
But selling options, on the other hand, is a good way to generate a little bit of income while doing what you kind of were thinking about doing in the first place. Like if, let's say you have a stock that's overweight in your portfolio and it's way above what you think the fair value is, but you don't want to sell it necessarily outright. If you have at least 100 shares, you can sell covered calls, maybe 10% above the current price or something like that. Collect a little bit of cash for doing that, but not lose the shares unless it rips another 10% upward, in which case you're overweight, you think it's overvalued anyway, you don't mind selling it for that higher price.
Dividend Dude disagrees. We'll talk about him next time he comes on the live. Uncertified financial arouser comes in. Sounds like
options
gambling.
are so bad. Okay.
Options are for income in it. I think
if you're selling them, it's generally for income. Yeah. If you're buying them, it's either for downside protection or for anticipation of appreciation. And yeah, it's basically so wheel strategy isn't isn't something that I would do with 100% of my shares at any given time, because I don't want, if the stock market rips, to lose out on all my upside. But I strategically will write calls occasionally. If I can get, each year an extra, 3% on my portfolio from writing options, that 3% over 30 years per year, it adds up.
All right, everybody. We got about 5 minutes left in the condensed show here, the shortened one, because
Got to preserve Ryan's voice.
the energy.
His golden voice needs to be preserved.
The moneymaker, you could even say. So if you guys have any last comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, leave them in the comment section. Are there any topics you think we missed for this week? Any stocks you'd like to talk about? Any crazy news?
For me, nah, nothing crazy. It's been I got a lot of dividends this week, but we'll go over that. People got to wait for that one.
I did some portfolio reconstruction this week. It's a big one. We got the playoffs. Oh, we got a blizzard where I'm from right now.
I'm aware of all the bad winter weather because we'll just say the industry I'm in, a lot of shipments aren't moving necessarily at the rate they should be moving at, we'll say, in your region.
Jesse. Yeah. Yeah, but
time to cook.
I mean, that's confirmed, everybody. Better hope the FBI ain't watching. Yeah, everybody's excited for it's apparently gonna be bad tomorrow. It's not horrible right now. There's just like 70-mile-per-hour winds or whatever, so fun times. But you know what's gonna hold the fort down? The do dividend stocks not drugs flag in the back. If there's the whole house comes chomping down tonight, the one thing that's gonna be remaining up, the flag. Guarantee it. 100%. I woke up this morning to an Amber Alert. That scared the ever living crap out of me.
Oh yeah. No, I hate those things. I wish I could opt out of them, but
I know.
Yeah. It's like I'm not gonna go out there looking for like a silver RAV4. I don't care.
I zonked out last night. Like I was half asleep in the shower, and I forgot to turn on my sleep mode on my iPhone. So at 9 a.m. that thing just wakes me up. I jumped out of bed. Where have you been? Shamir's been gone for a bit now.
That's been Ryan's slogan for a long time.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, it's an OG phrase.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So what? We're at the 2-minute warning now, huh?
We are at the 2-minute warning. Make sure to tune into the weekly recap tomorrow, because
it's big dividends.
It is a big one. Earnings season is coming up too, so we'll cover that.
It's earnings
I
season.
sold out completely of one position, and I bought a lot of stocks this week, so you'll want to tune in. I got a special dividend too this week.
Ooh, did it wear a helmet or
it?
Was it a special dividend?
It may have been a special dividend.
Is it in? Did you sign it up for the special dividend Olympics?
Indeed, I did.
Cool.
All right. We have no comments, no questions, no concerns. Fiscal, where can people find you?
Well, on X at Mr. Macho Mug, I am trying to get my first 100 followers on there. So
yeah, I'm like 5 away. So
every little bit helps, guys.
Yeah, because we only do it for money. That's the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yep. That's why if you want to learn more about options, Ryan, you can buy my course, bro.
Yeah, only $750 a year. But if you buy it today, it's only $150.
Yeah, and it gets you into my private mastermind.
Yeah. You guys already know where to find me. Buy my merch. I don't
What you mean, this merch that makes you look like a jacked, roided out Hulk of a man? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Your traps are bulging because of the quality.
We'll say it's because
quality is seething through the camera at the moment, so it's absolutely
100%. Yep.
You haven't buy the merch. That's probably why you're not benching 135 yet, at least. And if you get the Real Man's Investing shirt, you get 225. So that's easy money right there. All right, everybody. Check out the weekly recap tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Always remember, do dividend stocks,
Yes.
drugs. And
And
lastly, remember,
cash flow is
is
king.
king. Oh, yeah.
Bazinga.